George, how did you find carnivore?
Well, I found carnivore by accident, Dave, and because I was trying to heal type 2 diabetes, but it was 3.5 years ago, really, that I was diagnosed with diabetes, and then carnivore came along after that. But well, I mean, what before I answer that question, what is carnivore? Because carnivore is kind of a word which I think Sean Baker actually came up with the word the carnivore diet, but I think that the what I'm doing and what many of us are doing is a much broader church. There's a lot more nuance than just carnivore. Maybe lion diet, you can probably say that is kind of pure carnivore, beef, salt and water, or ruminants, salt and water. But I am studying under the wonderful Dr. Kiltz at the moment. Dr. Nelson is my teacher. I am doing a 13-week uh, Dr. Kilt's certified carnivore and keto coaching course. And so that has introduced a lot more language into my lexicon. For example, there are many other ways of describing what we are doing. Low carb, high fat being one of them. We are all attempting to put ourselves into a condition called nutritional ketosis. So we have the low carb, high fat diet, which is, according to Dr. Kiltz, fewer than 130 grams a day of carbohydrate. Then we go into fairly strict ketosis of fewer than 50 grams a day, down to very strict ketosis of about fewer than 30 grams a day. And then, of course, we get into the carnivore world, which is meat only. We like to think it's no carbs, but there is actually no such thing as no carbs, because if you have an egg, if you eat muscle glycogen, then you will pick up the trace of carbs. So we have to really define it. Now, one of my favorite descriptions of it, I picked up on the course back a couple of weeks ago, and that is what we are all doing is therapeutic carbohydrate restriction, TCR. Now, I really like that because what we are trying to do is to heal ourselves, which is therapeutic, and we are doing it through carbohydrate restriction. So I really feel that therapeutic carbohydrate restriction is probably actually a less emotive, better description of what we are all actually trying to achieve. So actually, I discovered therapeutic carbohydrate restriction way before I discovered carnivore, because when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and morbid obesity, I weighed in at 293 pounds, 133 kilograms, or 21 stone, to give the full description. I was a real mess. I was a heart attack waiting to happen. My doctor was less than helpful. She basically said, "Yep, you've got type 2 diabetes, you're morbidly obese. We're going to have to manage this with metformin and statins." So out came the prescriptions for metformin and statins, paper written, and I left my office with those clutch in my hands, not really knowing what to make of it all. But as I left the office, so my phone rang, and the phone call came from within the surgery where I was, and it came from a fantastic nurse called Nurse Kathy Moran. She said, "Come and see me." So I walked to the other side of the practice, from where the doctors were to where the nurse practitioners were. She ushered me into a room, sat me down, and said, "George, you've got type 2 diabetes." "Yes, I have. Thank you." She said, "What do you eat?" So I told her. I ate I said, "I don't really eat sugar." I said, "I eat, pasta, potatoes, rice, vegetables, bread, potato chips, or crisps as we call them over here." And I said, "Yeah, I eat meat as well." I had a standard diet. Spaghetti bolognese is one of my go-to dishes. So that was pasta and meat and, sauces, that sort of thing. So Kathy then gave me the meaningful stare, looked right into my eyes. Unlike the contempt which I saw in the doctor's eyes, I saw sympathy and kindness in hers. And she said to me these words: "George, all carbs are sugar. They all turn to glucose in the bloodstream." My knee-jerk reaction was, "What? Even the savoury ones, the ones that don't taste of sugar?" She said, "Yes, they all." So she was very patient with me. But it was a light bulb moment for me, and I realised, in that second, literally in that second, that I could go away and do something about it. I think the recommendation for the National Health Service is to go away and lose 5% of your body weight, and that will help you quite a lot. So my last words to her as I left her office were, "We can do this." I went away. I put the prescriptions on the table, did the research, started off with a guy called Professor Roy Taylor from Newcastle University. Very low calorie approach, realized it wasn't sustainable, then discovered the low carb approach. So I threw away the two prescriptions. I never, ever cashed them in. Very proud of that to this day. Went back to work, never heard of the word ketogenic before, had heard of the Atkins diet. A bulldozer driver on site called Max Bramfitz told me about the ketogenic diet of for fewer than 50 grams a day of carbohydrate. That opened my eyes even further, so I went and researched that. Quick word, Max is a bulldozer driver on a building site. He is better educated about education than your standard Western doctor. Gives you a bit of food for thought, really, doesn't it? So yeah, did the research. Never heard of carnivore. Went low carb, high fat. And again, I want to go back to the definition of carnivore, because the actual definition of carnivore is hypercarnivore. And hypercarnivore has a scientific definition of any being which consumes more of their energy, hate the word calories, through meat or animal-based products. Therefore, even on the low carb, high fat diet, most of us are in fact hypercarnivore by definition. Therefore, those carnivores who get very precious about the meaning of carnivore, maybe think about the term hypercarnivore and the scientific definition of it, because I think you'll find that those of us who aren't perfect, including myself, as we will come to later, are in fact, we come under the definition of hypercarnivore. So, where am I at? Yeah, I was low carb, high fat, hypercarnivore, and I noticed straight away I lost about 30 pounds within the first 5 months. Was feeling a lot better. Come August, I very cheekily asked for 5 months on from my diagnosis. I cheekily asked for another set of bloods. Went back, got the set of bloods at the end of July, no, August 4th, 2022. Was told that I would receive my standard feedback telephone call on August 22nd. Very routine. August the 9th, Sandra, the head diabetes nurse, phoned me and said, George, I need to speak to you urgently. I said, right, what have I done? I thought that I've obviously gone low carb, high fat, and I've made things worse. She said, no, do not worry. She said, I just need to know what you've done. She said, you reversed type 2 diabetes in 5 months. To use the British terms, I was right in British measurements. 42 to 48 is pre-diabetes. Any score above 49 in British terms is you are a full-blown type 2 diabetic. So mine was 50 mmol, whatever that means, millimeters per litre or something, I don't know. So I was just into the type 2 diabetic range in March of 2022. By August, I was 36. That is 6 points below pre-diabetes. So I had actually reversed type 2 diabetes in the space of 5 months. It is that easy. Which kind of brings me on to another thing. I don't think that type 2 diabetes is a pathological condition in its own right. I think it is merely a symptom of malnutrition, because I was suffering from malnutrition, as most of us are. Once I stopped myself from suffering from malnutrition, then the symptom, not the disease, with type 2 diabetes went away. That is very much in my opinion. But I will stand by that. It's a hypothesis of mine, and I think I'm the living proof that type 2 diabetes doesn't actually exist. It is merely a symptom of malnutrition. So yeah, and then later that month, I kind of discovered YouTube as something more than just a music platform. And I was researching reversing type 2 diabetes, and it threw up the Sarah Holberg TEDx talk, reversing type 2 diabetes starts with ignoring the guidelines. So that's a fabulous video. And then because I was researching keto, carnivore started appearing. The key one was Dr. Ken Berry and Kelly Hogan, which is woman eats meat for 13 years, only meat for 13 years, and this happens. And that really blew my mind. However, I'd done so well on keto. I still liked my salad veg, my greens, and everything else. So for a further year, I carried on down the low carb, high fat route, the hypercarnivore route, with including the safe vegetables, if you like. However, it's a long story, but I basically then discovered the horrors of fiber, thanks to Zoe Harcum. I discovered the horror of oxalates and lectins and all the plant toxins. And eventually in September of 2023, so a year on from discovering carnivore, I actually went meat only when it comes, or fiber free, shall we say, when it comes to eating what I eat. Full disclosure, I carried on drinking for a further 2.5 years, carried on drinking alcohol for a further 2.5 years. Since I gave up alcohol in March of this year, but I have replaced, I've used replacement therapy, and I'm now virtually addicted to a non-alcoholic beer, which contains carbohydrates. But the results that I'm getting indicate that that is not deleterious in any meaningful, any significance to my health. Quick word on sugars. There are three monosaccharides. There is fructose, glucose, and galactose. Of those three, fructose is the devil incarnate. Glucose in and of itself is not the necessarily enemy on account of the fact that the body can metabolize it as it can with galactose. It cannot metabolize fructose, and it has to be sent to the liver for metabolism. So those of you who are horrified by my perception that glucose is not the devil incarnate, remember that most sugar comes in the form of table sugar, sucrose, or sucrose as Zoe calls it, and that is one molecule of fructose, one molecule of glucose, and it is that fructose that you are taking into your body which is doing the damage to the liver. Now, I know that over in America, Coca-Cola is high fructose corn syrup. I was under the misapprehension that that was the case here in the UK, but one of my carnivore community put me right. We are apparently in the UK we are still using sucrose, but you're still getting 39 grams of sugar with every can of Coca-Cola, and you're still getting a significant dose of fructose. So yeah, so that's how I found carnivore, Dave, and let's just go through the results. The results are that I was 293 pounds. This summer I weighed in 168. I'm back up to about 173 now, I think, as of this morning. I've had a massive upheaval in my life, which we'll probably talk about in a second, which has kind of thrown me out a bit. But yeah, I'm perfectly happy at 173, which was 78.5 kilos this morning, and that translates to about 12 stone and 5 pounds. I've lost 10 to 12 inches off my waist. It was 12 inches, probably back to about 10 now. Just a quick demonstration, which I've not been able to do before. Oh, that's my steak eating shirt, by the way. But as you can see, my belt is here, and that's where it now ends. I've had to go to my local Stadler, or my local racing stables, and the trainer has put 7 new holes in my belt for me. Lainey, my wife, said, "Why didn't you buy a new belt?" Well, actually, no, it's a really good quality leather belt, and I'm really proud of it. So there we go. Yeah, what else? Migraines gone. Triglycerides smashed. Type 2 diabetes gone. Last HbA1c was 32, which is 10 points below pre-diabetes. The nurse said I'm the most spectacular success story she has ever seen in her career. I'll say migraines, fibromyalgia gone, boils gone, tinea, which is your fungal infections, gone, TMJD, which is the jaw pain up there, gone, various aches and pains gone, energy levels absolutely through the roof, just turned 60, feel like I'm 16 again, literally, because I weigh the same weight as I was when I was 17. Just embarking on a new life, giving up the day job, now 100% carnivore, busier than I've ever been in my life before. So yeah, that's the benefits of carnivore.
It's easy to see how, you know, people might look at carnivores as like, "Oh, this is a cult. You're all like, you're all so overzealous about this thing." But it's easy to see why, right? When you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
literally turn your life around.
exactly. Again, if we don't use the emotive word carnivore, if we just talk about therapeutic carbohydrate restriction, treat it as a therapy, then that kind of people are less those who are dubious about us are less inclined, because carnivore sounds like, caveman. It sounds a bit like it's kind of a macho thing. But I don't know what you found, but I think that if we actually split the carnivore community down, I think you'll find that the gender the gender difference favors slightly in favor of the female of the species.
That
That's
that's
my experience
cer
anyway.
that's certainly what my YouTube stats would have me believe. It's
Yeah, and
it's it's not a big difference, but it is heavier on the female side.
exactly that is my experience because I am massively involved with the international carnivore community now, which is I think is very very important. And I have now hundreds of contacts around the world through Facebook, through WhatsApp, and through YouTube. And I would say again, just like yourself, without actually breaking down the statistics, I would say that yeah, the slight majority of my contacts are all female. No, are female, not all female. Um, so yeah, it's just a simple fact. So this idea of carnivore and chest beating caveman, wrong. It's about therapeutic carbohydrate restriction in order to regain our health. And we have nearly all done that. You get the very occasional one on YouTube who says, it hasn't really worked for me. But the huge majority, 95% plus, I would say, we've all reaped the benefits. So back to you.
Right. Yeah, so, since we last spoke, you've been very, very busy. What's been happening and what are the plans for the future?
Okay, so I turned 60 last week, which means I qualify for a military pension because I'm a veteran. So next month I get a lump sum and I get a small income stream, about nearly a week's worth of wages, if you like, a month. And that will keep me afloat until after Christmas. So I've now quit the day job. I'm now 100% carnivore professionally. I've yet to actually generate an income stream from carnivore. However, I have several avenues down that way. Basically a frustrated journalist, and I've started writing journalistic articles. I've got three books which I have planned. One of which is carnivore. The other two, one of which is my experiences in the Arab world because I was a Middle East specialist in the army, and I've got spent a lot of time in the Arab world, so that's kind of an off-topic book. There is another one I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now, but yeah, it's so that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at possibly getting into the tourist business because I'm now integrated into the American carnivore community. And a lot of them have expressed the interest of visiting over here, and they would love to, but humans are kind of scared about getting out of their comfort zone, aren't they? And a lot of my American friends have indicated that if there was somebody like me to meet and greet and take them around and show and do the organisation for them, then they would be in favour of coming over to visit the UK. So that's a possible avenue. Event organisation. On August of the 2nd of this year, we organised the first Great British Meetup. It was kind of my idea. I recruited the excellent Carl Day from the Primal Lifestyle because he's a much better businessman than me. And then we made up a committee. Just a quick shout out to those names. The first one being Alex Cannon. Now, Alex is the guy who famously lost his life just before the actual Great British Meetup. He lost it through it was a genuine genetic heart disorder, which nobody knew about. There are plenty of people against us who jumped on that fact, and they're saying, "Oh, it was a carnivore diet. It was a carnivore diet," but it was. And there was a lot of speculation within our community that it might have been something to do with what happened in 2020. However, Kerry Mann is a very good friend of that family, the Cannon family, and he on the his feedback video said it is an impossibility that it had anything to do with what happened in 2020, which to me is code word for saying that Alex never accepted that thing we were supposed to all have back in 2020. So that we'll put a line through that. Okay, so shout out to Alex. On the other committee members were Lauren Tucker and Lee Copus, who are both British stars of the upcoming Healing Humanity. The excellent Stephanie Taylor, stage 4 ovarian cancer sufferer, who has regained her quality of life through carnivore. She's still got cancer and the future is uncertain, but she's making the most of her life now because she's got more energy now at the age of 54 with stage 4 ovarian cancer than she has throughout her life. My wife, Lainey, again, similar story. She is a cancer sufferer. She was on the committee and organised the raffle for the meetup. Who have I forgotten? Yeah, Nikki Taylor as well was on there, who is Stephanie's sister. I think that was basically the committee. So we had a very good team around us, and the event went okay. It was, about 7 out of 10 because there were a few things that we need to learn from it. But I can see that we were a good team. We will certainly never ever look to make a professional living out of organising carnivore events. But through the course of our work, we picked up a very good caterer and very good venues. So there is a possibility that we might look at event organisation outside of carnivore on a commercial scale. I don't think any of the income streams that I will be developing will ever be my main job, if you know what I mean. But if I can, I've got the income stream from the army, and if I can develop minor income streams from the other things that we're doing based around carnivore, then hopefully I will be able to make some sort of living, which means I won't have to go back, put on my orange suit, and go and be a traffic marshal in the construction industry again. Fingers crossed. So there we go. So that's really really what's happened. Looking ahead to the future, we put the committee back together again, and we are organising the Great British Meetup of 2026 at the same place, Sourdown Farm near Glastonbury, the famous Glastonbury, in the county of Somerset. June the 13th next year, very similar to what it was this year with a few tweaks. In the meantime, we've got the committee, and we decided to see whether people want to do a winter meetup on November the 15th, Saturday, November the 15th, at a place called Cainton Mandeville Village Hall, which is 2 miles from the farm where we hold the Great British Meetup. That is going to be very different, not very different, but it's going to be different in as much as it's going to be a sit-down 3-course meal. For about half the number of people. We're looking at capping it to 60, maybe 70 if we get a lot of interest. There will be a first course of a charcuterie plate. The typical salami, chorizo, maybe bacon, who knows. But the main course will be all about the seasonal meat. So we won't be going down the route of the hog roast, the beef, the lamb, etc., the standard ruminant meat. Instead, what we're doing is the kind of the hunter's meat. So there will be half a pheasant on the plate because it is the pheasant season here in the UK, and the other half of the plate will be filled up with the ruminant venison from deer. It won't be to everybody's taste. So if you're asking, don't want to eat deer or pheasant, then it's not for you. However, we're hoping that the carnivore community is that adventurous when it comes to trying out the wild game that we will raise the 60 odd people. Third course, we're in Somerset. I checked the other day, the village hall, which is Cainton Mandeville Village Hall, is 22 miles from the village of Cheddar, which is the home of the internationally famous cheddar cheese. Therefore, we will be having a third course of cheddar cheese. Now, myself, Lainey, and Lauren Tucker are going to go and visit the village hall next Thursday, the 18th of September. We are then going to go and visit Ashley, the caterer. What we would like is to get a bit of an initial interest in between now and then. So the shout out is to Carl Day at The Primal Lifestyle, where you will find the concept video which he and I put together the other night. One of our committee members was supposed to be on there, but she got the times wrong, turned up half an hour late. But we were able to do it without her, didn't you, Steph? Anyway, so there we go. But we had a good committee meeting afterwards because Steph jumped on the StreamYard late, but we were able to have a sort of impromptu committee meeting. So it was really good. So please, anybody from the UK or anybody from America who fancies coming over, Australia, who knows? Please go to the Primal Lifestyle and register your interest, because we would like to have by next Thursday indications of about 30 people to make it worthwhile. We'd like to have a minimum of 50 really, but we can probably make it work with 30. A quick shout out to Sarah Wright, Healthy Carnivore UK. I told her about it and she has taken it on board and is also shouting it out on her channel at the moment. And a quick shout out to Sarah because she's on day 15, I think, of the Lion Diet now. She is a great fan of the Lion Diet, but really struggles because when she goes onto the Lion Diet, food noise comes back. Because she lives in a mixed carbohydrate household. she finds that the carbs really shout to her when she's online. She has asked that people support her, so I have told her that I will use any influence I have to get people to support her. So please go to Healthy Carnivore UK, show Sarah some love. I have told her that as long as she is on Lion Diet, I will keep on shouting it out to the to people like yourself, the big hitters in the carnivore world, and maybe that will give her the inspiration she needs to reach the 30-day point. Um, and on that subject of the community, I am a member of the KMT, the Kilts Mighty Tribe. Therefore, I get and I'm doing the course with Dr. Kilt, so I can actually sort of give Sarah a shout out on that. And also, I'm a member of the Healing Humanity a Life movement. Now, back in the day when I first started, because of the fear of cult, I promised Lainey that I would send no money abroad to, to the cult, if you like, which is why, Dave, I'm not a member of your channel. It's not nothing personal. It's just that I made that promise. However, with Healing Humanity Life, it is $30 a month, 30 American dollars, £22.50, I think I'm spending, and it is well worth it because you have this wonderful community. I think there are about 3 or 4 Zoom calls a week, which are hosted by the Healing Humanity Life team. Lynn Devoki is the main hostess. However, nearly every time, both Kerry and Adam Lacey are in on that Zoom call. There may be a dozen people there. So yeah, it gives me direct access to Kerry and to his team, face-to-face Zoom call. And as I promised Sarah, as long as she keeps on doing doing the Lion Diet, every Thursday night we have the Inspire Together meeting when we talk about successes in the last week. And I promised her that as long as she remains Lion, I will keep on telling Kerry every week that Sarah, Healthy Carnivore UK, is maintaining Lion. So hopefully that will give her a bit of encouragement.
I mean, I just want to emphasize one of the important things about this, I think, about just the movement generally is how the community just opens up for everyone. And like just the networking possibilities that are just not there for you otherwise in regular life. Like when, 4 years ago when you're going about your life, would you ever have imagined that you would have made the kind of contacts that you've made within the UK, but also outside the UK?
Never in my wildest dreams. I am now, I've realized that basically America are the world leaders in carnivore. I have recently come back from America. Right, we'll come on to that later, hopefully. But now because I have gone 100% carnivore, I have decided that America really is where I need to be focusing my efforts to a certain extent. So I have changed my body clock around now to Eastern Standard Time, American Eastern Standard Time, which means that on a normal day here in the UK, my day starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it goes on till 0300 hours on a Wednesday morning. It ends between 0100 hours and 0300 hours. 0300 hours definitely on a Wednesday morning on account of the fact that Russ Mitchell, the homesick Buckeye, does his keto cookout, fabulous comedy light-hearted program, which starts at 01:30 in the morning my time and goes on for an hour and a half. So yeah, every Wednesday morning I'm guaranteed to not hit the sack until 0300 hours. Last night, Kerry cancelled the Inspire Together Zoom call at 2300 hours my time. On account of the fact that he and the team are traveling to an event, and I can't remember which one it is, in America this weekend. There are so many, I lose track. So I was able to actually do the 1 hour call the 1 hour YouTube between Dr. Nelson and homesick Buckeye last night. Hilarious that was. That finished at 2100 hours. I did about another further hours work on Facebook and WhatsApp with the carnivore community. So I was in bed by 10 o'clock or 2200 hours, which meant that I was able to get up at a reasonable time to come and meet you at 0900 hours my time this morning. But my
Hmm.
routine is very much based around America now. So yeah, I am a late riser here in the UK and late to bed. And it means that I can do all my most significant work after 10 o'clock at night here in the UK up until 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK, because that's when all the lives from America happen. and just about everybody I know, all my mates now, if you like, my classmates from the Dr. Kilt's course, we've all been encouraged to start YouTubes. So everybody, every man and his dog, every woman and his dog, her dog, they are all putting out lives now. So I basically on Tuesday night last, I'll give you an example. Tuesday night last week, it reminds me of something. Target prime rib. Thomas Pruitt went out at 9 o'clock at night, my time. My time. Yeah, so 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. That was target prime rib. Then 11 o'clock till 12 o'clock. Kerry and his weekly um, uh, coaching course. We had, I think, Coach Lisa Pickard, if I remember rightly. Then midnight, was straight on to Mitch, old guy carnivore, who was doing a live. And then he actually overran over 1:30, and then it was straight on to Russ Mitchell, uh, homesick Buckeye. So 6 hours straight. I mean, that's almost a working day in its own right. So yeah, that's what I mean by being a full-time carnivore professional now. Just trying to keep up with you guys on YouTube. Cube's unbelievable. I've got to admit, Dave, I do not keep up with your daily interviews anymore because I'm just so busy doing what I'm doing that it's very rare I get the chance to watch everybody, and I try and sort of watch somebody different every day. But obviously, I favour my classmates because we are mates as such, and everybody is now chucking out
So,
unbelievable amounts.
what about if everyone's starting their own channels? Have you considered doing the same?
I have a channel. Okay, so it's George Goodenough 823. I use it because I am very techno idiot, a techno F-wit, as I call myself. I use it as I can't do thumbnails yet. I can't edit, and I can't do StreamYard interviews as yet. So what I do is I use it as a platform for spreading news. However, right, let's have a quick look. So, yeah, my once I get this carnival coaching course out of the way, and I'm behind on it, by the way, because of what I'm so busy, but because I'm great mates with Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, Alia, they are cutting me a bit of slack because they realise what I'm doing in the carnival world and realise that I'm doing a lot of hard work, but they do want me to finish by the end of September. So I do need to finish by the end of September. October the 1st, my new project will be to relaunch my channel as a professional channel, which will mean thumbnails, it will mean StreamYard, and it will mean editing. And to that end, my wonderful stepdaughter bought me this book for my birthday. As I'll just show it again, just in case anybody wants to read it. The ISBN number is on the back. I could put it on my Facebook, I suppose. If off the back of this, I probably will put it on my Facebook so that people know what they're ordering. Lots and lots of young people out there younger people, I should say, have volunteered to show me how to do podcasts, how to do how to YouTube. One of my best friends now, I've already mentioned in the carnivore world, is Stephanie Taylor, the stage 4 ovarian cancer sufferer. Big shout out to her. Happy Sexy Health. Happy Sexy Health. Go and visit it. And she lives an hour away from me, and she has very kindly volunteered to come and sit at this desk with me and teach me how to do the basic stuff. Which will be arranged after she's on the course with me, by the way, and that will happen in October once we've finished the course and safely got certificated. So yeah, so yes, Dave, I will be joining the ranks of YouTube. I will be looking to start being a chat show host, much as yourself, apart from the fact that I will probably diversify in as much as yes, I will have people from the carnivore community on, but I will also, what we don't do on your channel is we don't talk about the interests that we have outside of carnivore. So I'll be bringing people on carnivore and just seeing what sort of diversity the carnivore community has, from anything from neurosurgeons to, I won't say down to window cleaners. Lee Copus is a window cleaner. That's what he does for a living. What are your interests outside of it? Lee, as we know, is a classically trained musician. Lauren Tucker is a dairy farmer. I have a massive interest in the game of horse racing, which we spoke about before. What do you do when you're not being a carnivore? What do you do? Let's talk about that. It's because then that will show the diversity that we have within the carnivore community. So yeah, to answer your question. Oh, and the other thing as well is, as I told you, I'm a frustrated journalist. I joined Facebook on June the 7th. Was always suspicious of Facebook before, but now I'm using it to practice my journalistic skills. And a guy that I used to know in the army, a guy called Phil Abbott. Hello, Phil. I doubt if you're watching this. He was aware of my journalistic tendencies in the army, and having read one of my Facebook post, which is basically in magazine form with photographs. He said, I see you've lost none of your journalistic flair then, George. So he spotted what I was doing. And yeah, so I'm using Facebook as my practice ground, if you like, for my hopefully my journalism work. In the future, other things I can translate from three languages: Spanish, Italian, Spanish, French, and Arabic. I've got a bit of Italian as well into English. Can't go the other way. I'm not that good. I'm also a qualified TEFL teacher, teaching English as a foreign language, otherwise known as TESOL. So there is a possibility I might be able to generate some income stream off those if if as we progress. But I'm so busy with carnivore at the moment that those are kind of on the back burner. So there we go.
Yeah, that's, it's I guess thanks to carnivore that you've got so much energy to be able to balance all these things. Um, so,
No more
um,
brain fog. No more
can
brain fog.
yeah. Can you talk about the carnivore trip that you did recently?
I can do. Okay, this is a really weird one. July the 11th is the key the key date. Okay, so July the 11th, I was at work. The day job was interfering in my carnivore life. However, I used to put my phone on every day for Dr. Kiltz's morning meetup, 11 a.m. my time, or was it 10 a.m.? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I turned it on. I instinctively entered the daily draw, the hashtag KMT draw for the prize. Didn't know what the prize was. Well, I always do it. The guest that day was a chap called Tyler McCann, who is a cowboy, a rancher over in Wyoming. He is the organizer of the Rendezvous City Beef Roundup in Riverton, Wyoming. He was organising it this year, and Dr. Kiltz has sponsored a VIP ticket, 3-day ticket prize for worth $1,000. So yeah, I entered, didn't realise it was it. I caught a little bit of Tyler, and he really appealed to me as a human being because he was talking about regenerative grazing, which is one of my key interests because I come from a farming community. So I thought, yeah, it's really good. Didn't see the end of the program. Didn't know who'd won it. Didn't know who won the prize. Didn't know what the prize was. That evening, Friday, it was Friday, July the 11th. I got a email from Alia, my great friend Alia Wells, who is the PA for Dr. Kiltz. You're a winner. Open the email thinking, oh, great, a Kiltz mug or a Kiltz t-shirt or a Kiltz hat or maybe a Kiltz book if I'm lucky. No, I won the 3-day $1,000 VIP prize to go to Wyoming. Story doesn't end there. So my initial reaction was, I can't possibly do this. I was, as Dr. Kills would say, a sheep that night. I was scared. I emailed Alia saying, can't do it. Sorry, Alia, really can't do it. It's beyond me. Went to bed that night as a sheep, woke up with a different attitude. I'd become a lion overnight, as Dr. Kiltz would say, and I thought, I'm doing this. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Thanks to Dr. Kiltz, it would be to throw it back in his face if I didn't take it. Got the support of Lainey, my wife. She couldn't come with me, obviously, so I booked the flights off to Riverton. Booked the holiday in Riverton, all set to go. Later that same day, after Tyler had done his interview, his father-in-law, Calvin Hancock, the boss of the Hancock Ranch on which he died, because he died. He lived as a cowboy, died as a cowboy, got injured out on the range. I think it was probably sepsis or something like that set in, and he died later that same day, July the 11th. Now, Tyler at that point was determined that the roundup would happen, but of course he had to take his eye off the ball because there was a lot of organisation with the ranch, organisation with the funeral, etc., etc. When he returned to full-time focus on the roundup, he found that his sponsors, many of his key sponsors, had pulled out for various different reasons. The people who were supposed to be doing the catering had accepted another event elsewhere. He did his utmost to try and pull it round, to try and make it happen this year, but in the end, he had to give up. He had to actually announce the cancellation of the roundup. He sent me a heartfelt email in which he said, well, he said, sorry, give me that emotion. He said, I'm physically shaking as I write this, George. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. So I thought about it. I thought, well, hang on a second. This is not the end of the world as far as this trip is concerned. Because I said to him, I said, Tyler, I said, you're now going to be free that weekend. And I basically my thinking was he's going to be kind of upset, disappointed, lonely. So I said, look, I've got everything booked. I said, if you don't object, I would like to come and visit Wyoming. He said, absolutely, George, that's a fantastic idea. And if his words were, we'll go and have 4 days. He said, we'll go and be cowboys, if only for a few minutes. It just gave him something to focus on, to basically to look after this greenhorn out on the range. And having a fellow carnivore there would basically take his mind off what was going on. And of course, people might say, "Oh yeah, well he didn't get the benefit of the $1,000 ticket, so what did Dr. Kiltz actually do for you?" Well, I can tell you what he did for me. He made me want to go to Wyoming, and of course, when Tyler found out that I was booked into the Holiday Inn in Rivers, and he said, "Just cancel that." He said, because you're going to be staying in Calvin's lodge on the farm. Calvin doesn't need it anymore, obviously. So I had the honour of staying in Calvin, the late Calvin's lodge. His spirit was still there. Everything about him was still there, including the pictures, the rifles, everything about being a cowboy. I think you found it actually, Dave, on my Facebook. I think you follow me on Facebook, so you will know what I mean. But it was wonderful to have to stay there. It wasn't haunted, but his spirit was definitely there, and it was I felt incredibly privileged. So yeah, it went over, and also there was another excellent carnivore lady from Idaho, Laurie Tibbetts, who had the same attitude as me. I was supposed to be going to the roundup. She'd been to the roundup for the previous year. She said she basically thought, well, Tyler could do with a bit of company that weekend, so she also came. She stayed in an Airbnb locally. So instead of Tyler being sad and lonely that weekend, he had me and Laurie to look after. His mum, Susie Cornwall, came from Texas, actually, drove up from Texas for the weekend. And also, he managed to get hold of a guy called Chef Victor, who's a celebrity, top chef in Colorado Springs. He brought his family up with an eye on next year, because one of the problems this year, the caterers let Tyler down. So Chef Victor came up with 3 members of his family, and he did the cooking on Saturday night for the barbecue, which was our party night. And he laid on this excellent. We went out shopping through the day. We went to the Meadowlark Market in Lander, Wyoming, and he put on, because it was a mixed party. He put on this incredibly good um, vegetarian dish, like spinach and cream and that sort of thing. It was a sort of thing that I would have lapped up back in the day. But yeah, a big shout out to Chef Victor. He made a real effort, and of course, those of us who weren't pure carnivore, they very much enjoyed it. But the point about this is that Chef Victor also runs an academy. Next year, he will be coming. He will be one of the main chefs at the Rendezvous City Beef Roundup, Riverton 2026, and he will be bringing his students with him, which means that we will have a top chef and a load of student chefs as well, to make sure the catering goes right next year. Now, Laurie herself is a member of the basically, I don't know whether she's self-appointed member of the committee, but she is very much involved. We met her at the Fremont County Showground, or Center, I think it's called, in Riverton, Wyoming, on the Thursday afternoon. And we did a reconnaissance of the site where it's going to be. It's like a agricultural showground. We looked at the 5 kilometer, or the where the 5 kilometer ruck race is going to be. Rumor has it that Dr. Chapey was supposed to be taking part in it this year, and maybe he'll come back for it next year. So there's going to be a 5 kilometer ruck race with, I don't know how many pounds on your back. I won't be taking part of that at my age and with a hernia. So yeah, I've been excused duties. I'm just a cheerleader, so I'll put on a rah-rah skirt and dance on the sidelines. No, I won't, not really. And then the final part of that competition is, once a 5 kilometer ruck has been completed, which is 4 laps of the showground, then there will be the Maggie White Challenge. So basically, there will be two £50 bags of feed waiting for the competitors, one in each hand, and a 400 meter, no, a quarter of a mile run up the upper straight to finish. So the actual completion time will be 5 kilometer ruck race, followed by a quarter of a mile dash with a £50 bag in each hand. So good luck to him. Anybody who wants to take on Dear Dr. Chafee, please come and do so next year. I can also say that there are a couple of ex-Special Forces guys from America doing it. I have an ex-Special Air Service friend here in the UK. I'm desperately trying to convince him to come and represent the UK. I've heard nothing from him as yet, so we shall have to wait and see. Oh, yeah, on that note, I'm kind of acting as a UK ambassador for that event, and myself and Laney will be going back next year, and I would love to be able to think I can raise a little UK delegation. Quick word on that, not cheap. However, we are looking at getting discounts in a decent hotel over there. I know now how to get there. Denver Airport is very easy to negotiate. The hop to Riverton is very easy. Riverton itself is 10 minutes outside of the Riverton Airport. Is 10 minutes outside of Riverton. No, it's a 10-minute transfer, either by shuttle bus or possibly if Tyler can arrange private transport. Worst it comes to worst, we use a taxi service, and the local taxi service in Riverton has the fabulous name of the Gator Creek Taxi Service, and they're a very friendly bunch apparently. And yeah, we can organise them, and in Tyler's words, they will look after us. So yeah, anybody from the UK who wishes to be part of the UK delegation to the Beef Roundup next year, then please feel free to contact me through Facebook, through my YouTube channel, through my email, which you've got, Dave. I don't know whether you want to put it on here, or through the usual, what do you call it? The usual suspects, the usual communications channel. I'm very open to carnivores contacting me, because I want to hear from all carnivores around the world, basically. So yeah, that brings us up to date with my Wyoming trip.
Nice. So, based on the experience you've had with carnivore over the last number of years, I mean, it's been an amazing journey for you. But if someone was looking at watching this video and they're thinking, okay, well, I want some of that energy. I want some of like his diary is pretty full. I want some of that, and I want to have the energy to do that, and I want to feel good. How would you recommend they start moving towards being carnivore?
Okay, so you've already indicated they have a strong why. They want what we've got. I had a very strong why. So that led me into the next, what I call the three pillars of carnivore, which is have a strong why, the why that makes you cry, as Lisa Weidman says. Then move on to the research. I have done literally thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of research through the doctors, through my friends, through you, especially in the early days, Dave. And I learned about fiber. I learned about plant toxins. I learned about the benefits of eating meat, B12, K2, retinol, etc., etc., which has led me on to studying it now officially under Dr. Kiltz. Third point, and maybe equally important, community. Find community. Go out and meet fellow carnivores face to face in the wild, as Stephanie once called it. I think she's met very few carnivores in the wild, but she has met one or two. So, and on a domestic point of view, it's through the usual channel, through YouTube, in comments on YouTube. Make direct contact, form your WhatsApp groups, or join already established WhatsApp groups. Um, Go to meetups. That's a big one, because meetups are becoming everywhere now, and they're very easy to get hold of. They're right throughout the States. Over here in the UK, we have the public health conference every year in London, which isn't carnivore, but it is what I talked about earlier, therapeutic carbohydrate restriction. Phil Escott up in the north has the annual Ancestral Health Festival. And I understand that Richard Smith Keto Pro is reconvening the carnivore conference this year. And inadvertently, I've very nearly trodden his toes with the Great British Meetup, but I believe that we are fairly close in June. I haven't looked this up as yet, which might be a blessing in disguise, as it might mean that some of our American people who want to come over to visit Richard's Carnival Conference might come over early to have a look at the Great British Meetup. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
so
they
community.
could do two, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Mm,
So that is,
nice.
yeah, that answers your question. There is something about me, as you can see, I am absolutely carnivore mad. Cook meat rare again, which is a play on words, make America healthy again. I am wearing my steak eating shirt, which is valid every day because I eat at least one steak a day. Shortly after this, I'll be going and having my breakfast, which will be steak and eggs. So I'm wearing my steak eating shirt. And full disclosure, I am absolutely a coffee addict now, and I have this coffee mug here. So, warning, if ever you bump into me for whatever reason, warning, I may start talking about meat at any time. Yeah, because I'm the traditional carnivore bore, because I'm so excited about it. All I really want to do is talk carnivore and therapeutic health. And my local friends and family are absolutely fed up with me, which is why I've had to go out there and find the carnivore community. Because the carnivore community are perfectly willing to put up with me going on and on and on about meat all the time. Because guess what? They do too.
Look, I'll make sure that I put your all your contact details in the show notes so that people can reach out to you. But George, look, I always enjoy these. I love your energy. It's like, I'm we're close in age, and I feel like it's the more people I talk to with this kind of energy around my age, the more it's like I feel like I'm on the right track.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I love these chats, and, I really appreciate you coming back on and letting us know, all the exciting things that you've been involved with.
Yeah, I've forgotten there is. Well, I have a mantra. I have a rule by which I live my life, which is carnivore is fun. It's not about hard-nosed science and that sort of thing. It's about making it fun, and community is how we make it fun. And you and I, mate, you tell dad jokes, and apparently I do as well. Which again was something which Stephanie raised to me back along. So yeah, you and I have the same sense of humour, silly sense of humour. We always have great fun when we meet up, and it's been a great fun knowing you over the years. And as I said, in 2026, possibly after the Great British Meetup again, and after the this time next year, I look forward to doing interview number 6 with you because I will have so much to talk about, most of which will be fun, I feel sure.